Hey, I'm so glad to see you today. I've got a question. Have you ever seen a mountain range off on the horizon? This is not something we see in Indiana, but if you've been to Colorado or even the Smoky Mountains here on the eastern seaboard, you see the mountain ridges and it kind of makes this jagged horizon on the edge of the earth. Well, what's interesting about mountain ranges is that there can be multiple mountain ranges between you and the edge of the earth. And when you see that profile, you don't actually know the tip of each mountain. One mountain range might be miles back, but if it's a bigger mountain, it looks the same size as the closer ones. And so all you get is this jagged silhouette, but those mountains are not all in exactly the same distance from you. Does that make sense? Multiple mountain ranges. This is a visual that I was taught during my seminary studies when it comes to Bible prophecy. There are many Bible prophecies that were fulfilled at one time in the past, maybe are also being fulfilled in the present, and will be fulfilled again in the future. Now, this is not true of every single Bible prophecy, but of many. We touched on this in the book of Daniel, which was written at a time when God's people were enslaved in Babylon, and yet there's a lot in Daniel about the end times when Jesus will return as King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Well, there's a little bit of this in the book of Joel. Joel's a really interesting little book. It's only about 3 chapters. You could probably read the whole thing today if you wanted. Here's the context of Joel. The people of Judah had become prosperous and complacent. Sounds familiar, Americans. Taking God for granted, they had turned to self-centeredness and to sin. Joel warned them that this kind of lifestyle would inevitably bring judgment. So that's the summary. But I want to point out to you Joel chapter 2, because in it he prophesies about what happened in the book of Acts. And then there's another prophecy just within these 3 verses I'll read you, which Jesus made the same prophecy about the end times. And you can find Jesus' prophecy in Matthew 24 and in Mark 13. But here's what Joel wrote in Joel 2, starting in verse 29. It says, quote, "In those days I will pour out my spirit, even on servants, men and women alike." So that happened in the book of Acts. Verse 30, "And I will cause wonders in the heavens and on earth, blood and fire and columns of smoke. The sun will become dark, and the moon will turn blood red before that great and terrible day of the Lord arrives." That's Jesus uses almost the exact words in Matthew and Mark. "But everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved." Many of Joel's prophecies came true in his lifetime. Others came true in Jesus' lifetime. Others yet will come true perhaps in our lifetime or in the future when Christ returns. See you tomorrow for more Daily Hope.